Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel, September 6th, 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here this afternoon with fellow Planet X investigators, Dr. Claudia Albers, and also Prep Aussie down in Australia. Now, Prep's, he's made a pretty big discovery once again, and he does fantastic work. And ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see, once again, is probably going to amaze you, open up your eyes, and we're going to start getting some explanations on what is happening in our inner solar system, what is happening to our planet. As you all well know, we have so many things going on right now in the Atlantic with all of these wild hurricanes, forest fires, volcanoes, earthquake activity, and now earlier today, a 9.3 X-class flare directly Earth-facing. A lot of sunspots on the sun, a lot of activity on the sun, but we're supposed to be going into a solar minimum. But the sun doesn't see it that way. The sun definitely has some partners surrounding it. And we've been showing you this information now for over a year. And today, Prep's made a pretty big discovery. By the way, good afternoon, Prep. Good afternoon, Doctor. How are you?
Good afternoon, Scott. I'm well, thank you. And you?
I'm doing pretty good.
G'day, Scott. G'day, Doctor. G'day,
okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to get like right into this. I was going to wait, for several people to jump into our live stream right now, but there is so much information to share. Oh, I see Jeff P's joined in the chat. Prep, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to you. If you could just speak up a little bit more in your microphone so everybody can hear you really good, and you can share the screen, and let's see what you got, buddy.
Okay, mate, let's go. Right, what I'd like to say first is that when I do my testing, and I've said this before, so I hope people understand, I don't change and alter the image. All I do is actually change the color spectrum. That's it. And what that means is that basically it's like an X-ray. Obviously you change different frequencies, you get a different image on an X-ray. So basically that's all I do. I don't put anything in them, I don't change them, I don't do anything to them at all. Is my screen on there now?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this morning, it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning here. So I got up at 6 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And as I do every morning, I catch up on my emails, and I thought I'd watch a YouTube video or two. And then I automatically heard about all this, the big CME flare that Scott mentioned. So I was watching BP Earthwatch, and during his show, I did about 10 screenshot captures, as you can see here. Now, really, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through this particular image here today, because this image shows everything that we need to see anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. As I said, you're looking at the image there. Now, I want people's eyes to adjust to this image first before we move on.
Mm. Yeah, because
now,
that huge big object there, Prep, it's unbelievable. It's huge. It's just huge.
It's unbelievable and undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. Now,
it's at least twice the size of the sun, and this is a stellar core. This is a core of what was once a main sequence star.
Yep. exactly. I believe you're correct on that.
Mm-hmm.
The image is, the reason we're seeing this is because of the fact that this CME, by the way, was an almost full halo effect around the sun today. That's how big this flare was. It also showed up this image here, which is a cluster. I believe this is a cluster.
Yes.
And there's a plasma trail that goes back to the initial image. Now, Scott, every time we show these, someone, one of your good mates, the trolls, will get on there and say, it's a prominence. Well, before anyone even mentions that word, a prominence, because a prominence is a small little puff of cloud that's ejected gases ejected from the sun, which forms a ball and then it explodes. Now, this thing here, as the doctor has already pointed out, is the same size as the sun.
Well, that's definitely not a prominence.
Yeah, it's definitely not a prominence.
Yeah.
So just want to stop that there. Now, I'll do, like I said, I'll go around the picture. So we've seen this one.
Yeah.
There's another one here.
Yes.
You can see the outline of it clearly. There's another one here.
Yes.
You can see the outline of it clearly. There is another huge one here.
Yes.
You can see the outline of it clearly. Can you guys see that at your end?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me if you can't.
Oh, yeah, I captured some really good pics of this, and I fixed the coloration on them, and we'll take a look at them after you're done. Now,
Up here, you know, this thing here, down here on the left is interesting. But you have an absolute cluster of them up here.
Yes.
And folks, they're not prominences. And if you have a look at the image, you can see the shadows behind the flare.
Yeah.
And there is something here, if you follow my cursor, which goes all the way up, all the way down, and all the way around.
Yeah.
Which means that this thing is about 3 times the size of the sun.
That's right. Yeah. And you know, Prep, we have them in different sizes, because if you go right up to the top of the image, you see all the smaller ones, because you see the dark holes with the cloud around. Yeah.
Yep. That's
and lots and lots. So the corona is just stacked with these objects, and they all stellar cores, old stars.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go through the testing that I've done on this particular one this morning.
Yeah.
This is inverted. So you can see that one there.
Yeah.
That one there. That one there. This one here didn't come out too great, but you can still see it.
Yes.
There's not much to see here. You can, if you really look hard enough, you can see the outline. What that probably tells me is that these are further back, and we can't really see them that well.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can see the outline of this one here. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The next image I'm going to show you is value inverted. Now, this image is undeniable, the next image.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Folks,
yeah.
That thing is there.
It's definitely
100%.
there.
Live, You can't form circles in the sky with nothing.
That's right. Absolutely.
Especially in space.
Yes, exactly. Well,
just have a look at the size of that thing.
There are so many that I'm even surprised that we can see the sun at all. I mean, it should be stacked around it.
I mean, it's completely enveloped in the coronal mass ejection. You could also see what appears to be possibly stripes, similar to Jupiter.
Yes, you're right, Scott. It does look like stripes, and these objects are known to have stripes because their ionizing envelope forms it's in the form of stripes because of the symmetry of the magnetic field. So it's toroidal in symmetry. So that leads to stripes.
Now, if you go up here, you can actually see the planets that you were talking about earlier, but you can also see that outline that I was mentioning before is still here.
Yes.
It hasn't gone away. The other ones in front of it, you can just sort of make them out.
Wow. Unbelievable.
This one here, you can clearly see this one here.
Yes.
There's no denying that one. Look, it's clear as a bell.
Yeah, I've got some good pictures of the object to the right.
And then
good.
That one there, that one there, that one there.
Yes.
You know, like this is there's planets everywhere. You know. It's just,
I know. And it's unbelievable.
Folks, if you're watching this, see these three here. We've seen these three for the last couple of months on images. And these on their own are massive.
Yeah.
Like, remember, if we were putting the Earth here, it'd be a pinprick.
That's right.
So look at the size of these things. Just on their own.
Yeah.
But of course, then you go back to...
These are at least the same size as Jupiter, so they're huge. Don't forget the size of the sun is that yellow circle.
Yep.
The occulter is larger than the sun. So if you compare these objects to the size of the sun, they are huge. I mean, the one on the left is at least twice the size of that white circle. So it's twice the size of the sun. And I've never seen one that huge before. Don't forget that's a core. That's a solid core of a star. And the sun is supposed to have a core that's about 20% of the size of the sun. So the star that would have been 5 times that size. So it would have been a star that was, as a main sequence star, 10 times larger than the sun.
It's amazing. Where did these things come from?
Yeah, you know, it must have been that the sun passed through an area of the galaxy where there were lots of dead stars. And they somehow detected the sun and they were attracted to it and have been coming in. We don't know for how long they've been traveling towards the sun, but we know they are here and their numbers seem to still be increasing. And they are weakening the sun, they're drawing plasma from it. And basically, there are so many and they are so huge that they are the only possibility of what can happen is that they will destroy the sun completely. You know, it will go dark. It will become a brown dwarf star itself as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a black and white image. It's desaturated, so that means it's got no color in it.
You can still see now, that huge big object, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say was, I've got a saying, black and white doesn't lie, because you can't cheat the colours in black and white, can you? You know, it's black and white. That's it. It's simple.
Yeah, that's right.
So one thing we haven't mentioned as yet is the massive planets that are actually sitting in front. There's 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 6 planets that are sitting in front of this thing.
Yeah, because they cluster with the sun, and they cluster with each other. They attach to each other, and they attach themselves to the sun as well. So this is why we often see a group of them all together. They just cluster.
Yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it? Like, I nearly fell out of my chair this morning when I was looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was so surprised to see that as well. It's just, I never expected it. I mean, the last time we saw one was just slightly larger than the sun. These ones are much larger than that.
This is a good picture because of the fact, say, this planet here that's in front of this object, you can actually, the blast came from this way, so you can actually see the shadow that this planet has created on the surface of the other one, which tells us 100% back is there, because it's got a shadow cast over the planet or from the planet.
That's right.
You know, you can clearly see that.
It's amazing.
Okay, well, I'll go to the colour spectrum ones.
It's huge.
Now, how many times is this that we have captured these objects in CMEs? I think this is what, the 3rd, 4th time?
Yeah, I think so.
Past couple of months. Now, this started back in July with the CMEs, and we made those discoveries because these CMEs are lighting these objects up like the 4th of July. Now, once again, here we are trying to explain to everybody what is exactly happening. Why is everything just so screwed up around the world? And I've been talking about this now for a year, and I have pretty well laid things out, how things would go down and what was going to happen, you know, coming into the year of 2017, specifically starting off in May. And everything that I have said from January on, everything that I've outlined, it is all happening right between your eyes, smack dab.
Yeah.
You know, and folks, I told all of you that this hurricane season, as we got into the month of August, things were going to change so drastically that it would be completely unbelievable. And that's exactly what's happening. And we are only in the beginning stages. And the stage is set.
The trolls and everyone will tell you that things haven't changed. There's no changes. What changes are there? The trolls are telling us there's no changes.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Prep.
I said, the trolls are telling everybody that nothing's changed.
Oh, yes.
You know, things haven't changed. Everything's normal. Everything's normal. Go back to work. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what they want you to do.
You can't go out in the sun because it burns you in 5 minutes. You can't look at the sun anymore because it's so white it burns your eyeballs. You can't plant anything anymore because every time you plant a flower or anything, it just dies because of the sun.
Yeah.
Crops are failing worldwide. Tidal surges now are so bad that, you know, pretty soon they're going to wipe out a whole city on the coast somewhere.
Well, that's actually happening. That's actually happening right now. I was listening to a report coming out of the city of Miami Beach, and for the last year, they have their city engineers have been at their wits' end because they are now experiencing very severe sea rise, ocean rise, water levels. So therefore, the drainage systems don't work anymore. And now during high tide, the streets are flooding in certain areas in the city of Miami Beach. And they are racing to try to figure this out. They have actually produced 3 documentaries on this subject. 3 since January of this year.
But Scott, everything's normal, don't you know that?
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's normal. Go back to work, folks. Everything's normal. You know, people have got rocks in their head if they're not noticing even slight changes at the moment. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm not a denier.
There's so much disinformation out there, and you know, I mean, these debunkers, I really don't think they do any damage. They're more of a pain in the neck than anything. They don't prove anything. They're just absolutely ridiculous. And we have more than enough evidence to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that our inner solar system has already been invaded, and it's going to continue. I don't think these objects are going anywhere anytime soon. And the effects on the sun and the effects on the earth, the bottom line is it's going to prove itself, and it already has.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Well, this image here, folks, by the way, is what's called a gamma test.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately with gamma test, it picks up the heat signals off planets, or, you know, whatever's hot, put it that way.
Mm.
But the other problem is when you take it down too far, it actually blots the image, makes it go too dark, so you can't really see everything that's there. So I've only taken this down a little bit, but, you know, look, the objects are still there.
Yes.
You know, there's no denying that.
Mm.
And like I said to you before, you just got to look at that planet there,
mm-hmm.
and that shadow that's coming off the sun. That shadow's being created by that planet onto the object at the back.
Yes.
So there is no denying that is 100% real.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, it's just a gamma test. And if you look to the right, that's the gamma test there.
Mm.
So now I'm going to go into the color spectrum ones.
Okay.
Now, all this is, folks, is like I said, I don't manipulate the image. I don't do anything. All I do is adjust hue, lightness, and saturation. And what that means is just basically I'm changing the color of the image. That's it. So if I go up and down, I'm going to show you in a minute exactly what I do. But as you can see, different light spectrums deliver different outcomes for each image because, you know, a different light color will give a different image because something might be hidden, whereas it's dark, it might come out on a lighter color. It's as simple as that, really. There's no, you know, it's not rocket science or anything like that.
Sure.
But,
I just, the more I look, the more objects I see,
yeah.
Prep. That's what it is. It's amazing.
As I was just saying, sorry, a frog in my throat. If you look over this side,
yeah,
that image wasn't as good as to see as it is now, because the color image has changed.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see it better now because the color's up. And as I was saying on this side with the shadow, if you look, you can see the shadow behind it. It's casting a shadow because the light's going across it and it's casting a shadow. See this image up here where my cursor is? Look how many planets there are there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's just, you know, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like 20 or so planets in this area.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Right, sorry, hang on. Once again, different light spectrum, different images. Same images, but they just show up better. Like that one doesn't show up as good now in the dark as it did in the light.
Yeah.
But as I said, this one up here,
It's you.
this thing up here is like 3 times the size of this. It is just horrendously big.
It's absolutely huge. It boggles the mind that these objects are so close to the sun. Just.
Well, Scott, you said it yourself. We've been looking at these now for months, haven't we?
Yeah, this well, we've gotten into seeing these objects because of all of these coronal mass ejections going all the way back to, I think, about July 16th now.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's where they've just become completely undeniable. These are not solar prominences. Solar prominences are in no way, shape, or form this large. They are not this far away from the sun. So that's out the door. All of the captures that we have accumulated during these CMEs, to me, they're spot on.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, the CMEs seem to be caused by these objects. Don't forget, they connect magnetically with the sun. It's not a gravitational interaction, it's a magnetic interaction. They actually pull on the sun's magnetic field, which leads to these CMEs and these solar flares. They actually are causing them. So
this object here has me amused, actually, because I can't. It looks like a torpedo, but it's obviously something. Oh, I see what it is. If you follow the line around, if you follow that line, it's actually another big planet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's glowing on the top. You got the CME or whatever. It's lighting it up on the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, so this must be something. This is another cluster of planets sitting in front of another huge planet here.
There's always a huge cluster in this section because I've been observing for months. You see that jet coming off at about 7 o'clock on the sun. That's been there for a long time. And I believe that's a strong particle flux transfer between the sun and an object that would have been at the edge of the image. And then the rest of the stellar cores have congregated in the stream between the two. So there's usually a huge number of them in the section here. It forms a cone stretching outwards towards the edge of the image from the point where that jet is coming from. So, yeah, always lots of them there.
Just want to draw people's attention. Like once your eyes start adjusting to this, and you know, like you need to spend time looking at the image because your eyes will adjust. And as I said before, circles aren't made in space. That's not what happens. And if you follow your eye around this image, there is circles everywhere here. Look, one there, one down here.
Yes.
One here, which tells you that these are all clustered around planets. You know, there's just that many of them. It's just incredible.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Okay, this is
and
just another different.
And they seem to be increasing. Or we were not able to see them before, but I think from the way the sun is reacting, I think what happened was the smaller ones arrived first, and now the really large ones are arriving. So I think that's what's happening. Because they're still very dark. They're not emitting a lot of light.
This one over here. Look at the size of this thing. You can't see it fully because it's not illuminated properly. But if you follow the actual outline, you can only draw one conclusion, and that is that it's a circle. Same with this one up here. This one here. This one here. It's just... These images have to be some of the best that, you know, we've seen so far because everything is illuminated.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, there's also been a lot of missing time on the Soho. Stereo was down from August 29th till I think just maybe yesterday or the day before. Just a lot of missing time everywhere. You can see very clearly a lot of the imagery has been touched up. It's been doctored with. So, I mean, look, I've been doing this for a long time. I know when I'm being fooled. I know exactly what they're doing. And, they've been hitting my YouTube channels left and right, left and right, left and right, taking my videos down, you know, striking videos of mine 9 months old and saying that they're spam. 9 months old. So they're doing everything they can to shut it down. You can clearly see what's happening right now around the world, and myself and a lot of others, including the doctor, we think that there is also a lot of geoengineering and weather warfare being conducted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
right.
What I'll do now, just so everyone knows that these are, to use an Australian term, fair income, I'll show you exactly. This is a live test, folks. So this is the actual image. So there's nothing on there at the moment. So the edit, if I had to undo anything, it would be in an undo. There's nothing to undo. So this is the actual image now.
Mm.
I'll just leave it as it is. And all I'm going to do, folks, is show you exactly how I do this. This is all I do. I just test it, change lightness and saturation at times, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll show you what I mean. So now when I go through, obviously nothing's going to show up when it's that bright.
That's clear as a bell. That's clear as a bell, some of these photos.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, of course it is, yeah. I'm just proving to people that this is a live image.
Yeah.
And this is how you find them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, look up here. I didn't even notice those two there before.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you see them? Or three. 1, 2, 3. Look at the size of them.
Yeah. They're about half the size of the sun.
Yeah, well, there's another one there. Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah. My goodness. Unbelievable.
What I'll do now is take the saturation down, take the lightness up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, you can all do this at home. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Wow. So many. There are just so many. I think there are thousands of these objects now in the sun's corona, Prep. And I'm actually surprised that the sun is still functioning at all. So it's no wonder they give us the sun simulator every single day. I mean, the sun must be very different, actually, at the moment. So it must have weakened substantially.
So what, if that's the case, Doc, then what are they, if they know that these things were coming and are here,
Mm-hmm.
what can they do to compensate the fact that the sun is being diminished? Like Scott said, it's supposed to be a solar minimum.
Yeah, I think that's why they knew a long time ago they had to have sun simulators. So that's what we have. I mean, but we probably they're using hundreds of sun simulators to compensate for one sun. And well, the sun, it seems to still be there, but it's just substantially weakened. And it's probably not emitting light of the same color even. And these objects are still congregating around the sun and are still coming. So the sun seems to still have some juice left in it.
I want to say something here very, very quickly while we're all on the subject of the sun. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to explain something to you very, very clearly. You know, and the doctor just touched on the point. The sun is still there. Okay, we're not denying that. But I have a lot of people that say, oh, you know, I look at the sun through my telescope using my solar filters and blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, of course, you're going to see that disk. You're going to see the sun naturally using your solar filters on your telescope. But what you're not going to see is anything around the sun. And the reason being is because you are isolating the sun and only the sun in your telescope, your little earthbound telescope. Okay, you're not looking through these images of these highly sophisticated cameras on stereo and Soho. Okay, there's a big, big difference. There's a big difference in visible light. These CMEs are lighting these objects up left and right. The doctor's correct in saying that, listen, they've had many, many years to develop technology to cloak and hide these objects, on top of skewing all of the information, deleting different timestamps and things of that nature. Folks, this was already laid out to me over a year ago. Everything that has been happening on this planet is basically, it's all been laid out for me. I was told specifically about the weather situation. I saw it coming. And as I've mentioned before, what a better way to displace millions of people and nobody would think anything about it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's happening right in front of your eyes. I just did a story before we aired this live stream about all of the wildfires out on the West Coast. In the central part of the United States, down in Texas and Louisiana, we have all of that massive flooding. Hurricane Harvey. Now we have Hurricane Irma. You know, it's just basically going to obliterate probably parts of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, possibly parts of Cuba, and possibly the entire state of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. We just don't know what's going to happen. And folks, don't think for a minute that the technology isn't out there to steer these storms. I saw it in Hurricane Harvey. I am seeing it right now with Hurricane Irma. I just really haven't said anything about it because the minute I start mentioning this on YouTube, YouTube comes at me with all of their strikes and, you know, just trying to destroy the YouTube channel so nobody can see or hear the information. But it's getting out there and people are starting to wonder. I was watching all kinds of videos today and yesterday about the situation in Houston, Texas, where the police are basically yelling and threatening people who are trying to save others who have been trapped. This is happening. I'm not even going to go into the whole FEMA camp thing because we all know it exists. FEMA is already posted up in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. They were trying to confiscate everyone's guns in the Virgin Islands. A governor, you know, he wrote the order to confiscate all firearms.
Isn't that illegal in America?
In the U.S. Virgin Islands, he wrote a direct order. It's a U.S. Territory.
But still, isn't that illegal?
You know, whenever they write these orders and they sign them, I guess there was some legality to it. But it did occur. It's been all over the internet and all over YouTube. I mean, when Hurricane Irma comes ripping through, it's going to make its way all the way up to the northeast, and we'll be getting 60 to 65 mile an hour plus winds for probably 2 to 3 days. So we're going to have power outages, possibly some flooding, and we'll probably have our own mess up here, but nothing like what is going to occur in South Florida. Well, the entire state. There's still a big possibility that it will make it through the Florida Straits and possibly out into the Gulf of Mexico. And the way I see the steering currents, that would take it right into either Tampa or the Panhandle in Pensacola. And then straight up through Georgia. It would just be a complete mess. No matter which way you slice the pie, it's not going to taste good. Very, very serious situations on the horizon.
Yeah.
And they're not going to end.
Well, what's amazed me is over here in Australia, all we heard was unless you're watching YouTube, all we heard was Hurricane Harvey hit, flooded all the homes, and as far as I can tell over here, it's all finished and done. But even in America, even on YouTube, I'm not seeing any information come out. Maybe chase this up, Scott. What happened to the nuclear power plant? It got flooded, didn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen one person post anything about the nuclear power plant in Houston.
Well, there's a lot of information being shut down. If you start watching these videos that people are now surfacing with, and they're getting all over social media. There was a couple of guys a few days ago that had, you know what a scissor lift is?
Yeah.
It's you know, that you could lift a couple of men. It's got big wheels on it. It can go, 10, 20, 30, 40 feet high. They make them in different sizes. This guy just happened to have one that had huge all-terrain tires on it, like monster truck tires. I've never seen one that big, but he was about 15 to 20 feet in the air without the scissor lift extended. He was able to go through super deep water. No problem. This thing's battery operated. He was able to save a whole bunch of people that were stranded. When he was coming out of the water onto the dry part of the street, the police department was waiting for him. And they ripped into him like you wouldn't believe. It's all on video. And the guy said, "Hey, look, man, I'm just trying to save people." And the cops told him, "We're tired of this. Stop it. Don't do it again. Stay out of here." What? And this guy just looked at him and he's like, "Whatever, man." And then there was a black lady with a friend of hers. They had 6 garbage bags of clothing. They went to one of these areas where people were displaced. I don't know exactly where it was, like a shelter. And they were passing the clothes out to elderly people and children, whoever they could help. Police officers surrounded them and started to accuse them of stealing the bags of clothes when they clearly got out of the car with 6 garbage bags of clothes, and they were clearly handing them out to people. They were later on pushed away from the shelter facility. It's all on video. I just watched it this morning and I was shocked. Why?
That's crazy.
So who do you trust? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm warning you now. If any of you get involved in a safety situation such as what has happened in Houston, what has happened in Louisiana, and what is about to happen in Florida, do not go to any of these FEMA workers. They're wanting to vaccinate people. They don't know what kind of needle they're sticking in their arm. They don't know anything. This is a very, very dire situation. And this is what we have been saying will happen. You're forcing people. Yeah, I mean, they're forcing people to come to them. Don't you see it? I'm disgusted.
I'm going to have to leave the live stream in a second, Scott. So I'm just
real quick there. Real quick, I wanted to show you what I caught real quick before we jumped on the live stream here, and it was from your images. I just went ahead.
Point out there, that there.
Oh, go ahead.
That there is what I was saying about before. That when the image is in a different spectrum, you'll see the image better. Look, you can clearly see it.
Yeah.
It's huge. Absolutely huge.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You know, like these aren't tiny little things we're talking about here anymore. They've now moved into our solar system.
That's right, they have.
You know, and people want to say they're looking for a planet. Well, I keep saying to everyone at the moment, guys, you're not looking for a planet anymore. You're looking for the system, because the system is here. You know, and as you said, Doctor, people are looking up in the sky and just not registering with the fact that they can see these things, because you can see them, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, the mind just does not accept it, and so you don't see it, and that's what it is.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because honestly, folks, people are sending me pictures that they're taken from their backyard, and you can see the planets in the sky.
But yet
it's just clear.
Yeah, yet people don't notice it. They look up at the sky and they don't see anything, because they think, they believe there's nothing there. So,
well, I'm here to tell you, folks, there is something there, and pretty soon something's going to wake everybody up, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a very, very high possibility.
Yeah.
You know,
Scott,
there's still
if you
a lot
want to
of.
do your thing, I want to show one other image to everybody, but you do your thing, and I'll find it first, if that's okay. So I'll share back to you now, mate.
Yeah, I'll just pull these up. This is what. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. This is what I just pulled right before we went on the air.
Yeah, I can see the large one on the left. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see this one, and right there.
Yeah. It's huge. Yeah. There we are. Amazing.
Now, I hope everybody can see that on your screens. Remember, I told you to always click on the little white gear on your YouTube video player, move your resolution all the way up to 480, 720, 1080. That way you get a better, clearer picture coming in off of these live streams.
Mm. And
I just have a few more of these.
But Scott, you see how many more you see in these images? They're just so many, everywhere. The smaller ones, larger ones, they're just everywhere. Just where you have your cursor, there's another. Yeah, there's another one there.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, and then another one a bit further to the right, and it's just everywhere. They just everywhere.
This is the same one that Prep was pointing out right here.
That's right.
And then right over here,
you
can see it. It's clear as a bell.
Yes.
I mean, here, I'll zoom in. I mean, if you can't see that, then you've got to be batshit blind.
It's huge, and there's just so many. It's just unbelievable.
I honestly believe that the doctor and I spoke about this the last time I was on. Your mind is programmed to actually not see this stuff. You actually have to release your mind a bit to actually see it, because it's cognitive dissonance, mate. People just aren't seeing these things because they don't think they need to or they want to, but they're there.
Yeah.
You know, I want to ask everybody in our viewable audience right now, and I want you to type your answer into the live stream chat. Do you clearly see what I am showing you on the right side of the screen? I'm not even going to point to it. Just type in yes or no. Do you see what we are showing you? Yes or no? I mean, I just want people's answers, because we're not just three people here, myself and the doctor and Prep. We're not the only three people seeing this. That thing's huge. You can clearly see the outline of it. It's actually past the CME a little bit. The bottom portion of it is slightly captured in some of the output from that CME. But you can clearly see it, man. Oh my Lord. My goodness.
It's bigger than the sun.
Yeah. I think this object is slightly closer to the camera, which would give it a bigger perspective. But it's definitely out in front of the sun, because I could tell by it would have been enveloped completely in the ejection from that side of the sun, but it's only covered just a little bit at the bottom. But I mean, this is one of the best pictures that we've captured besides what was captured back in July. Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Scott, do you mind if I share back in now? Because I found that image that I want to show you.
Yeah, everybody. Not a problem. Let me get out of here.
You've already seen this. You and the doctor have seen this before.
Good. It's all you.
Okay. I've mentioned this before. We have a research group, computer research group. That's Scott, the doctor, and there's 12 other people in the group, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we pass each other information on a daily basis, or Scott might want pictures looked at or ask people what he thinks, etc. It's actually turned out to be quite a successful research group, because we now got people with drones flying up in the sky.
Telescopes,
massive telescopes with IR resolution and mylar filters on them.
Yeah.
What I'm about to show you, folks, Scott and the doctor have already seen this, was taken on the 21st of August, which was on the Eclipse day. Now, you might see James from, what's that channel called? Impossible Channel. He's mentioning it all the time at the moment, where people are noticing these sunspots in front of or on the sun. Well, the sunspots are not on the sun. They're actually there's planets in front of the sun at the moment that can clearly be seen. Now, this was taken by Tom, who's one of the members of our research team. who's got a fantastic telescope. With got, you probably know how to give people information, but it's incredible stuff that he's got, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, absolutely. Tom's doing a great job.
Mini astronomer. Now, this was taken with a Mylar filter. I've actually got the actual original, which is blue, but this has been inverted. Now, can everybody see that image there at the bottom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does everyone remember the planets of the crossing?
Yes. Oh my.
That is
that
it.
does look like. Oh my. Oh
Now,
my goodness.
Now this is about this is about the third time in the past month that we've seen this formation in different photos.
Sorry, this was the inverted one. Okay, now look, this is clearly showing this image, and these are the spots that people are seeing and filming at the moment have been there since the eclipse. Well, they've been there before the eclipse, but people weren't paying attention.
Oh, I see.
Now, this was interesting. This is what we're calling in the group the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is that image with the actual Mylar filter exposed, so you can actually see it. Now, look at that.
Oh my, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, this was taken by a person in our research group who's got phenomenal equipment. The only way I can describe his equipment is he's probably got better stuff than most astronomers. And he's in Tennessee. Tom is in Tennessee in the US. And he took this picture on the 21st of August, facing the sun when the eclipse was on. Now, you can't, there's no way you can't see that image.
Yeah, of course you can see it. It's amazing.
Now, the reason I'm showing everybody this is because Scott made a valid point that we are now in the realms of this system, and we've been telling, Scott specifically has been telling people for a year now, this system is here. It's not coming here, it's here.
Yeah.
And this is the precursor, folks. If you go outside at the moment, and if you live in Australia, I'm not sure about the US, we think it may be showing there. If you go out and have a look at 310 degrees northwest, this bottom image here going through the every night at the moment.
Oh my.
If you look, I'm just going to show you one other image, Scott.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Yep, so I'm just going to show one other image then. Yeah, mate.
Did we lose Prep?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we lost you there.
Okay, this was taken by Tom, again, in Tennessee.
Yes.
A couple of days later, you can clearly see that this is here still. But if you look to the right, that's that same image.
Oh my goodness.
Over.
Yeah.
Actually, if you lean back from the screen, you'll see it better than being up close to the screen.
Yeah, Prep, for some reason we lost your I think we lost your screen. Yeah,
Well,
we lost your screen.
Hang on. Someone doesn't want you to see what I'm showing, obviously.
But Prep, that means that some of the sunspots we are seeing are not actually sunspots. They are these objects, isn't it?
They are these objects. They are not sunspots. They are these objects which are now out in front of the sun coming towards us.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'll go back to... I'm trying to fix the screen up.
Hey, Prep, is Tom able to get any type of coordinates on these? Maybe the next time you speak to him, see if he's able to get some type of coordinates on what he's viewing, and we might be able to get some other scopes on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, mate, that would be easy because I'll just get him to send it to you in the email group, mate. Just send an email and we'll get it done for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Can
now
you see that now?
Your screen's good now.
So, can you see that?
Yes.
It's kind of faint.
Yeah, I know it's faint, but it's there.
Yeah. Can see the little spots. Yeah, so I mean, if these objects are seen to the left and to the right of the sun, it's to be expected that they would be in front of the sun as well. So it's difficult to see, but it's obvious that we're starting to see them as well in front of the sun. So that makes sense.
I'm just going to show you one more, Scott, and then I'm going. This is an image from Seven Spalding's video on the 30th of August.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he filmed.
Wow. Oh my goodness. There are so many. And some are huge.
And folks, all I did with this was just put a gamma test on it. But notice you've got the sun here, and you've got the second sun up here.
Oh, yes.
No two ways about it. And as I said, even if I took 3/4 of these away, what are the other ones?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you see, the second sun, we probably have many suns now because some of these objects have been around long enough to have rejuvenated and are now able to emit light, visible light. So we would have multiple light sources all over the place because of that. And the rest will try to do the same. We'll see if the sun lasts long enough for them to rejuvenate. But so we would get more and more light sources from these objects.
The one reason I wanted to point this image out, was I think this at the top is the sun.
Okay.
And this at the bottom is something else. So this is what you think the sun looks like, yellow, remember?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is, but what I'm trying to say is have a look at the size of these objects that are clearly shown in this picture.
Yeah.
All the way out to here. Look at the size of them.
Yeah,
and if you actually look at this size, these images here, they're the images that we are now seeing today from the CME.
Oh, yes.
There's no two ways about it. Look at the size of this thing. It's bigger. It's 2 times the size of that.
That's right.
Or it's 2 times the size of that. Whichever one's the sun, I don't know. But the objects are 2 times the size of whatever's the sun.
Yeah.
And look, see these ones right next to this image? You'd probably have to say that this is the sun, and this is exactly what we are just looking at now on the CME.
Right.
Doctor, look out here to the size of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Can everybody see that on your side? Can you see it?
Yeah. It's just huge.
It's not clouds.
No.
Right, well, on that point, I'm going to have to leave you guys.
Okay.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Prep.
Prep, before you go, I wanted to show you just real quick the photographs that were sent in by the guy's name is Al Len. And
yeah, I've started testing it yesterday, mate.
Yeah, these are what I came up with here.
Mate, there's about 6 or 7 planets in every picture.
But this isn't even the moon. I mean, this looks like a freaking light bulb, but this object here is clearly an object.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here is, I got a better picture of it. And this doesn't even look like the moon. I mean, this, and he was using a very, very good video camera.
Yeah.
Just one more, I got clued in on this. This was a solar image. This shows you the distortion of whatever this object was supposed to be, the moon. I mean, it's not even round.
No.
There's nothing to it.
That's right.
And then the object in question, here it is.
Mm.
Can I throw something out there so you can tell me if I'm thinking crazy, Doctor?
Yeah.
This image that Scott's shown us now, is there any chance that that pink thing that everybody's seeing in the sky at the moment is actually the sun?
I don't think so. I don't think we actually are seeing the sun most of the time, because they're using the sun simulating instead of the sun. They use holographic projectors so that it looks the way it's supposed to look, I think. And the moon is the same thing. You can clearly see this is the moment you start to see straight lines, you know it's not a natural object. And
Yep.
so that's I believe is a moon simulated. This object, though, it looks kind of diffuse, so a cloud. And I looked at some of the images, actually got thin jets coming from it. So it's having plasma discharges. So to me, that's again another stellar remnant with ionizing envelope around it. This that Scott's showing now, that's definitely that's pretending to be the moon, that object, but it's not the moon because it's got this, and it's so symmetric that you can do a vertical reflection right through the middle of it, and it's this almost the same on either side, but with these step-like straight and making these straight lines. That tells me it's not a natural object, right?
Yeah, this right here. You can see clearly.
Do you think the pink object then is the moon?
No, I don't think it's the moon either, because it doesn't look like it has a solid surface. It looks like it's got a diffuse cloud of gas around it. Look at it.
Yeah.
It even has a hole in it that you would expect out of these stellar remnants. You know, they always have this toroidal shape, cloud-like envelope around them, and that, to me, that's what that is. It's also magenta colored, like we've seen many of these sources are. And to tell you the truth, the magenta color is boggling my mind, because the way you form magenta is you have to mix blue and red, and that's the two ends of the visible spectrum, with the middle part missing, which is the green. So you would have to have something that's absorbing the green frequency from the middle of the visible spectrum. And then you're left with the red and the blue from both ends. And it's very strange to me that this is happening with these objects.
Scott,
yeah.
as you were flicking through those pictures, then you actually came up with the planet of the crossing picture.
Yeah, I have a picture of it right here.
Yeah, just show everybody that picture, because that's exactly what Tom took a picture of. That's exactly what I showed everybody a minute ago.
My goodness.
You want me to show it again?
Oh, there's no doubt. I think I even have a picture of what we were.
You should have, yeah.
This was just captured.
Yeah, you should have a picture of it, too.
Yeah, this was just captured. I think somebody from our group sent this in, or had this sent in.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep. That's not mine. That's the original NASA picture. If I remember correctly. Auguste sent that in, yeah. But I've got my picture here on screen if you want to see it.
Yep, go ahead. I'll exit out of here real quick.
And that'll just tell everybody that, yeah, we weren't joking.
Yeah, you can go ahead and share your screen now.
You see it?
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, and there's that. If you look on the side of the original one you had, Scott, it's got that little planet there, and that's it there. And there's 2 on the outside of that one. No two ways about it. It's here, folks.
It is amazing.
Oh, there's never been no doubt in my mind. It's just been a matter of proving it and, you know, bringing it to the public's attention. And, you know, that's been the hardest, but we will still plug away each and every day, no matter what.
Okay, folks, well, I've got to go. The boss is calling me.
All right, Prep, I appreciate it, buddy. Drop me a line whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, will do, mate. God bless everyone. God bless, Doctor. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, Prep. Thanks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, there you have it once again, you know, making a pretty big discovery. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that picture up on the screen again, what I captured just before we went on the air. So let me go ahead and pull this up and we'll take another close look at it. Oops. Oh, why do I always go the wrong way?
They're all good images, Scott.
Yeah, this one here just really gets to me here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't see that, then you have got to be completely blind.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And they're so huge. Every time we look, we find larger and larger objects. Have you noticed?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I truly believe that this one was closer to the camera on the stereo satellite. But then again, you know, it's very, very hard to gauge distance and things of that nature. And, you know, once again, right here on Planet X News, folks, you know, you're catching some of the biggest discoveries in the biggest conspiracy ever in all of mankind. And I truly believe now in all of world history, as far as man's been existing on this planet, truly trying to cover it up. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay tuned. And if any of you live anywhere in the path of any of this crazy weather, please heed the warnings, get out of town. Don't even try to attempt to hang around during these big storms. And may God be with everyone who is going to be affected by this Hurricane Irma. It's going to be a big one. Both of my children live in Miami, and there's really no place to go, folks. It's a very long state. You can't go south. You can't go north. You can't go east. You can't go west. There's going to be a lot of people riding that storm out. I lived in Miami for 22 years. I've been through 13 hurricanes. I went through Hurricane Andrew, and that was bad enough. So I know what it's like. We'll be getting damage reports in coming from the Leeward Islands and some of the northern islands off of Puerto Rico. And I'm sure we'll be getting damage reports coming in soon from Puerto Rico itself. And then it's going to be making its track. So we're going to keep a very, very close eye on Hurricane Irma. And we're going to see what it does, because things just, they just look very, very odd with this storm. And I noticed that the models are changing constantly. Mm-hmm. So we're going to keep a close eye on it. Doctor, any last words?
Yes, well, thank you, Scott. Well, as usual, I'd like to thank you for helping me with all this and doing such a marvelous job. And, I'd like to say to everybody that this is a good time to seek God, the Creator, and get to know Him. We are going to all need Him at this time. We're going through very difficult times, and it's bound to get worse. And we definitely need Him. We should seek Him and get to know Him now. I think this is the best time. And we are at the end of this age, and another and better age is coming. But in the meantime, things are going to get worse, and we need to be prepared for that.
Yes, I do believe that preparation is going to be a number one. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure your subscriptions to this channel are made. Make sure your notifications are set. And make sure you're up on all the information. They're definitely trying to squash a lot of information, but there's so much coming in right now with these hurricanes and these storms. People are losing track of what's really, really happening and the root cause of all of it. I'd like to also thank all of my moderators in the live chat. Thank you very, very much. And I know we haven't been live streaming a lot, myself and the doctor. We've been very, very busy. And there's so much information coming in. I haven't publicized a lot of it because, well, like I said, YouTube has been on my heels left and right with my YouTube channels and the doctors. So they've been nitpicking at us left and right on the videos. They've even taken some of my videos down from 9 months ago. And then, after I complained, the videos were reinstated. So we are trying to keep track of a lot of information coming in. I thank each and every one of you also for sending your emails and sending your messages. I know I don't personally get back to each and every one of you, but folks, I literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails coming in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the images and the videos and reading all the information. It's a lot to keep up with, but the doctor and I, we know we do our best. And in the upcoming days and weeks, we're going to be live streaming a lot more. But, the storms are actually taking precedence right now. And this is the main information that we need to concentrate on. I'm very grateful that PrEP brought this information to my attention on the stereo imaging. It has been down for several days. Now we know why. So stay tuned, folks. And start passing this information around. Share these videos on your Facebook, on your Twitter. Start talking about the information that we're supplying before they shut it down. Before they shut it down. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for being with us today. Very special thanks to the moderators. Love you guys. Be safe out there. Take care.